Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of GCB TV. Today I'll be joined by Jutta Heinrich from the Frankfurt Convention Bureau.
I've worked for the Convention Bureau for the past 18 years. I really do love my job, and that's so great that I can spread the news today to everybody about what's going on in Frankfurt.
For starters, why don't you give me a quick overview of where Frankfurt is in Germany and in the world?
Well, Frankfurt is located in the heart of Germany, just at the borderline of northern and southern Germany. We also call it the gateway to Europe.
Frankfurt seems to be very centrally located. What is the best way of getting to Frankfurt?
That's true. Frankfurt is so easily accessible. The best way is to get there by aeroplane. Frankfurt Airport is connected to 300 destinations worldwide in 100 countries, served by 100 airlines. It's the home base, the home airport of Lufthansa German airline. And we are very proud that just last week the Airport Council International announced that Frankfurt remains the airport offering the best hub connectivity in the whole world. So for the delegates, it's really easy to get there. From North America, there are about almost 300 direct flights to 25 cities. So it's really easy for the delegates to get here. And once they arrive at Frankfurt Airport, it takes only 11 minutes downtown. So everything is easy, very easy handling in Frankfurt.
Yeah. Frankfurt is very easily accessible. What makes it a unique city for visitors?
Well, I guess you know, and everybody knows, Frankfurt is a business city. I guess that many of the meeting planners know it from IMEX, the trade show that takes place here every year. But Frankfurt has much more to offer than that. Frankfurt is a city full of contrasts. It's the contrast of the old and the new, which is also reflected in the architecture. For example, you find a glass-fronted, new modern high-rise next to a sandstone building from the 19th century. And that's because Frankfurt played a very important role in German history. And at the same time, it's a vibrant and a very modern and lively city. The contrasts in Frankfurt are very colorful. About 180 nations are living peacefully together. We love to celebrate together, no matter where people come from. We are very tolerant and very open-minded. We had, for example, last weekend the Christopher Street Day here in Frankfurt, and everyone was celebrating together, and it was just a great party, a big party in the city. And Frankfurt is very compact, which means that everything is very close by. Like, for example, the business district, the shopping area, the parks, the banks, the convention center and the hotels. Everything is walkable in Frankfurt.
What would you say Frankfurt is sort of built upon?
Well, funny enough, Frankfurt is built on conventions and meetings, because this is how it all started. Well, actually, Frankfurt was first mentioned in 794, and that was the time when the first European convention took place in our city. That was when the German Emperor, Charlemagne, called together the statesmen of the continent for a church synod. And this took place in our most time-honored venue that we have in the city, in the cathedral.
So you can kind of say the first ever convention happened in Frankfurt.
Yes, yes. And the place where the cathedral is situated, this is at the same time the location where we're now rebuilding the old city, because Frankfurt was destroyed during World War II a lot. And we're now rebuilding houses with shops, with restaurants, with leisure activities. It's gonna be a great new area in the city center. And good news for the meeting planners, there will be, or there is already, meeting space available. The whole city will be finished by 2018, but there is already a house. It's called the Stadthaus, which means municipal house, which offers space for up to 150 people. In the 1350s, Frankfurt became an imperial city with 10 coronations of German emperors that took place here. And the banquets after the coronations were organized in the imperial hall of our city hall, the Römer, which has been the city hall since 1405, and it is still today. And meeting planners can use that for dinner events for up to 600 people. The vaulted hall, so they can feel the the history of the city of Frankfurt.
So you can dine amongst the kings.
Yes, and the empress. Yeah, it's a very nice atmosphere there.
Switching gears just a little bit, Frankfurt is also known as a financial city. How did that come about?
That's true. That's 200 years later, after the first coronations in 1585, the stock exchange, the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, was founded, and it's an old, beautiful building in the city center, and in front of the building you see the bull and bear. I'm sure you know them. Mm-hmm. They are symbols of the ups and downs of the global financial markets. And that's an Instagram spot for everyone visiting Frankfurt, and also for the Convention Bureau, for ourselves.
So being that the stock exchange is here, was the euro also created here, or how did that work?
Yeah, that's true. The euro was born in Frankfurt because we have the headquarters of the European Central Bank. And 2 years ago, they moved to a new building in the cool East End area of Frankfurt, a brand new, very modern high-rise. And just behind that building, meeting planners would find a restaurant, a very cool event location. It's called the Osten. It's really fancy. It's got 3 levels, and they can all be used for events. And you've got the river on one side, on the other side, the European Central Bank, and it just feels great.
So taking it back to meetings, what is something that a meeting planner, an event planner, can really expect of Frankfurt?
Well, Frankfurt is a renowned trade fair destination. Its tradition as a location for trade shows, exhibitions, and also conferences goes back more than 800 years. The Messe Frankfurt Group is a global company organizing exhibitions and trade shows worldwide. And they do own several convention centers in the city of Frankfurt, like, for example, the Historical Festival Hall, the brand new and green Cup Europa Convention Center, and the Congress Center, which is under the same roof as a 4-star hotel, which is great for the delegates.
So it seems like Frankfurt has many options for the big meetings and conventions. What is something, business aside, what is something that makes it unique?
Oh, Frankfurt is a very lively and lovely city. It's very green, you wouldn't think that, but more than half of the whole area of the city is green, with many parks and a forest, a big municipal forest. My favorite place is the riverside, with the embankment that we call, or the river shore that we call the museum embankment, because there are 13 museums all next to each other. And it's especially great in summer when people are outside enjoying the sun. It's such a great location. And meeting planners, they like to organize river cruises combined with dinners as an incentive or as a social program. And so they see the city from a different perspective, which is really recommendable. It makes you happy. It makes me happy, at least. And also the food. Frankfurt is a city of fine food. Ideas about culinary ideas that were invented in Frankfurt are, for example, the Frankfurters, the sausages, and the apple wine, which is our typical drink. And again, the contrasts are reflected here because we have star chefs, we have international cuisine, and this hearty, typical German food and the cozy atmosphere that also the participants or delegates like after a long day of meeting. It's so relaxing.
Apple wine, I know regular wine, but what is it about apple wine that makes it so special?
Well, it's a kind of cider. It's served from a special kind of jar. It's called a bembel. And a special type of glass, and it's very refreshing. It's not as strong as the regular wine. It's refreshing. You mix it with mineral water, and in winter you drink it hot on the Christmas market.
Oh, like a hot cider.
Yeah, we say an apple wine a day keeps the doctor away.
What else is there to do in the region of Frankfurt?
Well, the region of Frankfurt, first of all, we don't talk only about the city, but the Rhine-Main region, because of the 2 rivers, the Main, which goes through Frankfurt, and the Rhine just outside the city. And the landscape is so beautiful, and it's great for incentives or for social programs. For example, the Rheingau wine region, which is only 30 to 40 minutes from the city center. It's a great area with vineyards and with castles, monasteries. I like that so much. For example, the monastery Eberbach That's a place where the film The Name of the Rose with Sean Connery was shot. And just more recently a trailer for the Game of Thrones. Okay. Just in May, the Entrepreneurs Organization had their Global Leadership Conference here in Frankfurt at Messe Frankfurt with more than 1,500 participants. And they choose one of our DMCs to organize the spouse and life partners programs. They had, for example, car experience, stand-up paddling, but also they went exactly to the monastery Eberbach outside the city, and they had a wine tasting tour. They had a lunch and then wine tasting tour, which takes you back to the Middle Ages. It shows how the monks lived at that time. While tasting the wine, you go from room to room, and you feel the chills of the walls and of the wine cellars, and people taste the aromatic white wines. And sometimes we compare it to the Napa Valley. It's like the Napa Valley of Germany.
Now that I'm sure some planners are very interested in coming to Frankfurt, what is their first step in doing so?
They should contact us, the Frankfurt Convention Bureau. We are a department of the Frankfurt Tourist Board. We don't have members, which means we are impartial. So we represent the whole city, all the venues, all the hotels. So we give advice on which venues are suitable, what social programs are attractive for the groups. We do the hotel bookings if the clients want that, or give advice on the hotels. To make a meeting more sustainable, we sell tickets for the public transport. So no coach transfers need to be organized. And we have contacts to the scientific and economic communities in Frankfurt, which makes it easy to get in touch with the industry. So if the meeting planner needs contacts for speakers, for exhibitors, or wants to attract more visitors or more delegates, we help also in doing that.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure hearing more about Frankfurt. I know I'm here a lot. It's sort of become my second home away from home. We hope to see you in Frankfurt someday soon. Thanks.
Definitely.